Okay, so this is section 8.3. They want P of 7. So what does that mean we do? Yeah, just plug it in. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, it's just kind of the same thing as the last section. Plug in the 7. Everywhere you've got x, right? Both places you have x. Plug in that 7. So what do we get? 7 squared plus 7 plus 5. Everybody get there? You should put, you don't have to, but every now and then it'll matter, so it's good to have it be it. Put parentheses around things you plug into functions. So I put parentheses around the 7. It wouldn't really matter on this one. So then work that out. So 7 squared, 49, right? Use calculator if you're rusty on some of these things. Is that 12, 59, 61? 61. Good? All right, you stop me if you're in trouble. So they just blah, 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 blah. And then they come on down. All you need, you don't need to read all those crazy words. All you need is they just say, look, the thing is 4 inches by 3 inches by 6 inches. So that's all we need. The thing is 4 inches by 3 inches by 6 inches. So one side is 4, one side is 3. I mean, one dimension is 4, one dimension is 3. The other dimension is 6. So I'm just going to put those down, 4, 3, and 6. And then they're telling me, they're asking me, how do you find the surface area? Well, they gave me the formula right up there. They said the surface area formula is right here. That's the surface area. It's going to be 2HL plus 2LW plus 2HW. So that's the formula. I'm going to plug in to that formula. You tracking with me? So first off, H. I'm going to plug in H. What is H? It's that 4 there. What is L? L comes next. I happen to make it 6. Keep going. Plus 2. And then L again is 6. W is 3. Plus 2. H is 4 and W is 3. There we go. Work that out. You can just use your calculator. So that's 6 times 8, that's 48 down there. 48, what's that, 36, and 24, add those up. 60, 108. 108. What are the units on surface area? Yeah, it's square inches. Good answer. Square inches. You know, area is always square whatever. It's like if you want to buy new carpeting, right? It would come in square feet or square yards, which actually means squares. It means like, a square foot is something that's 1 foot wide, 1 foot long. It's probably not about that big, foot by a foot. This is a square foot probably, right? And a square yard is bigger. So so area of anything. This is surface area. How much area around that box? We just figured out all 6 sides, basically, of that box. That's what that is. That's all 6 sides of that box. The area is in square. We did it in square inches on that. Because these were inches. Inches, inches, inches. So square inches, areas in square inches. So basically, all you need is that function. Again, all these problems, you don't need to read all those words. All you need is the function 70x minus 73,000. There's the function I got right there. And they're saying, find P of, what is that? 4,000? Yeah, 4,000. So, what do you do? See, I just plug in the 4,000. How are we doing? We good? That making sense? Just pop in the 4,000 right where X is, huh? So it just becomes 70 times 4,000 minus 73,000. What's that? 4 times 7, 280,000, I think. Minus 73,000. That's 207,000. Yeah, 207,000. So you don't need all those words. It's just more practice plugging in functions. We good? I'm going to move on if you're good. And blah, 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 blah. What's the only thing I need? The formula, right? Just like last time, last two times. H of t, let me move it up a little bit actually. Put it right here. H of t is minus 16t squared plus 112t plus 288. So there's the formula we need. That's all we need. And then they're saying on part A, well, that is the height of something, whatever. The height of the object. Then they're saying on part A, okay, t is 0. T is 0. So let's plug in 0. Can you tell what the answer is going to be when you plug in t is 0? 288, right? Those parts with the t's are going to vanish, aren't they? So that one's just 288. Okay, how about part B? Oh, no, the next part of A. Now it says t is 2. So now I just want you to plug in 2. So it's going to become, remember, use a parentheses, plug in 2 right here where t is, right? Plus 112 times 2 plus 288. Then just hit the buttons on your calculator on that. I'm not sure what that one is. 4 times minus 64. Yeah, I don't know. Somebody have it on their calculator? I can do it maybe on the side here. So 12, 452 minus 464. You guys are making me do this, but doesn't anybody have this in their calculator? No? 388. I can do it quicker by hand than you can in your calculator, or you guys aren't trying? 388. Anybody get? I want to make sure I'm not wrong though. Is that right? I think that's right. Can I use your calculator? So 427 plus. No, 448. Did I get it right? Yeah, it's 448, right? I messed it up. 448. So fix that. 448. Make sure you guys try that in your calculator real quick. Make sure you can do that. I'm glad to help after class if you're having trouble, because each calculator is a little different, so need to help you independently. But I'm glad to do that. So make sure you can do that. You don't want to show up on exam day without a tried and true calculator that you know how to operate and get all. Well, you know where the negatives are. Negative is different than subtract. On most calculators. Well, on some of them. Anyway, so make sure you know how to do yours. So that's all right. And the next part, you just plug in 4, plug in 6, get the answers. Good. Just normal enough there. But I want to jump down to part B, because part B is different. I want to help you with part B. So if that's all good, I'm going to go to a fresh screen and we'll look at part B. Part B says, so they want me to take that function. Yeah, here, let me just go fresh screen like this. They want me to take this function, minus 16t squared plus 112t plus 288. And they want me to factor completely. We had a whole chapter on factoring. You guys are lean, mean factoring machines now, right? Can you factor that thing? Remember how to the parentheses, take out what's in common? It's kind of a hard one, though. First thing I would think is I would look and I would go, hey, like the 16 go into all those? I don't think so. Is 112 divisible by 16? I would take my calculator. I don't know. Yeah. It is? Yeah. Oh, 7? Oh, nice. Okay, well, and how about that? Is 288? 16 go to 288? It does? Yes? So, oh, great. Well, 16 goes into all those. So what does that mean you're going to do? First step for factoring is take out what's in common, right? So I'm going to take out negative 16. And that'll leave t squared. and then just divide, divide by negative 16 in your calculator. Divide by negative 16 in your calculator. Get, what was it again, 7? 7t, and what was the other one? 18. And they're minus, aren't they? Everybody with me on that? Remember the sign stuff? Right, double check it. Minus 16 times t squared would go back, wouldn't it? Minus times minus would go back to plus, wouldn't it? And minus times minus would go back to plus. Good so far? Remember that? Taking out GCF, what's in common? That chapter on factoring. Okay. And then, what do we do now? Can we factor further? Can we leave the minus 65? What do we do to factor this part further? The diamond thing, huh? Do the diamond. Okay, so we'll do the diamond. We're saying what multiplies to be minus 18 adds to be minus 7. What multiplies to be and adds to be. What times what's 18? 2 times 9? 2 times 9? What signs? Remember how we do the signs? Sign on the bottom goes in the bigger, right? Plus 2 minus 9 makes minus 7, multiplies to be minus 18. So 2 and minus 9, so that's minus 16 times t plus 2, t minus 9. There we go. That's what they want. Remember all that? A little review of factoring there, and a hard one. Like that. Good. All right. If you're good with that, we're going to change gears a little bit. The next thing is they're going to do a lot of, where they say find the domain. Now, we talked about domain half an hour ago, whatever, 45 minutes ago, something like that, half an hour ago I think it was. But this is the same thing, but the procedure is a little different. So, denominator, so what you always do on these, you say denominator, you cannot be 0, so that's just t, you can't be 0. So, boom, that's it. T cannot be 0. It's as simple as that. Let's try number 8. Let me get a little bigger. So here's number 8. Again, they're saying domain. So whenever you see domain, you want to think denominators cannot be 0, because 3 divided by 0 is infinity. Anything divided by 0 goes into 3 or anything else an infinite amount of times. You can't divide by 0, okay? So what then? So you grab that denominator and you say entire denominator, you cannot. You ever solve the not equals? It's the same as an equals. It's not equal to 0. Then you've got to solve for x. So how do we solve that equation for x? What do we do? Minus 3. Good. So minus 3. Just like solving normally, These are gone. So then we'd get 4x not equal to negative 3. Let me move it down here. It's kind of all clogged up there. So 4x not equal to negative 3. What do I do to finish getting x alone? Divide by 4. Last step's always dividing, huh? Right, divide by 4. So x cannot equal negative 3/4. Everybody see that? X can be any other number. You can put anything else you want into that function. But don't put in negative 3/4, because if you do, you're going to make that denominator 0. That's the x. If you put that in for x right here, you can test it and see if you want it. It doesn't matter. That's the value that will make the denominator 0. So it'll choke the function. It'll make it infinity. So what do we say? X is not allowed to equal. X is not allowed to equal negative 3/4. Any other number is fine, but not negative 3/4. Kind of weird, huh? But not hard. That's all it is. Whenever they say domain, you say denominator cannot be 0. And solve it. That okay? Does everybody see how that would make the denominator? It might help you to understand. Right? If you actually took that denominator, 4x plus 3, and you plugged in right there where x is, negative 3/4. You see what would happen? The 4's would cancel. It'd be negative 3 plus 3. It'd be 0. See how that would make? That is the one value that would make that denominator 0. That's why that's the big no-no value. Can't do that. Don't want to make anything else is fine. Just not that value. That'll make the bottom 0. All right. Okay, so try number 9 there. Same deal, right? Denominator can't be 0. So take that denominator, grab that denominator, write a little not equal to 0 equation. Write a little not equal to 0 equation. What about the numerator? We don't care at all. We don't care what's up there. Just completely ignore the numerator. Just grab the denominator and set it not equal to 0. Has nothing to do with the numerator. So I'm going to grab that denom, so it's always denominator not equal to 0. So I bring it over, go, okay, x squared minus 16 not equal to 0. Good so far? Let's grab the denom. Now, how do you solve that? What do you do? Factor. Yeah, factor. Exactly. Can you factor that x squared minus 16? Yeah, factor that thing. Remember, we had some of these. So how does that factor? How do you factor x squared minus 16? Yeah, double. X plus 4, x minus 4, not equal to 0. Good. And then you set each one, right, x plus 4 alone, right? Because the two things times to be 0, either one could be 0, right? Remember that? You with me? Remember how that works? We had some of those before. If two things are times, like if I said, hey, I'm thinking of two numbers, they times to be 0. Either one could be 0, right? Two things multiply to be 0, either one could be 0. And they would times and be 0. That's the logic we just used there. How do you finish the first one? It's just going to be opposite sign on both of them, isn't it? How about can I just skip a step? Just jump it over. X can't be negative 4. X can't be positive 4. That's it. So x cannot be negative 4, comma, regular 4. They want you to list them both with a comma. Either order doesn't matter. Those are the two values you're not allowed to plug into that function. Anything else is fine. But they will be like putting tinfoil in the microwave. They'll cause a problem. Right? You can tell. If you put 4 in for x, see what it would do to that denominator? 4 squared would be 16 minus 16 be 0. Right? Same thing with negative 4, right? Negative 4 squared would also be 16 minus 16 would be 0. See how plus or minus 4 are both a problem? This making sense? So that's what we do when they say domain. We just say denominator not equal to 0 and solve. Number 10, it's saying, hey, find g of 0. They're not asking domain. Look at number 10. There's no domain word in 10. See how they changed the question all of a sudden? There's no domain. Then 11, they're going to go back to the domain thing. But in 10, they're not saying anything about domain. They just want you to plug in the 0. So just stick the 0 in to both those x slots. So if you put a 0 in here and a 0 in there, what do you get? Minus 3 over minus 4. Two negatives? Positive 3/4. Done. Good? Can you do number 11? 11's back to domain now. Now they're changing it. 11's back to domain. So do that. Do the domain thing. All right, so we plug in, or we grab denominator, huh? We say denominators for domain. We say denominators not equal to 0. So x minus 14 not equal to 0. Just jump it over. You know the drill. X cannot equal 14. Can't put 14 in. It would make that bottom 0, wouldn't it? Which is infinity. So that's it. We good? See the two kinds of questions they're asking? Domain or plug-in. This is going to be your easiest. So try 12. 12's not domain. Notice there's no domain on 12. They just want you to plug in -6. Now make sure when you plug it in, you put, here it's going to matter. Make sure you put parentheses around that -6 every time you plug it into an X slot. Put the parentheses there. Okay, so how's that working out for you? So if you plug in -6, you get that. Is that good so far? Everywhere we had X, I plugged in -6. How are we doing? Is that good? What is -6 squared? Positive 36, right? Plus -6 over, that's -2 on the bottom, right? -6 plus 4. So that's 30 over -2, -15. Good? Questions on that one? We okay? You guys okay with that one? All right. As you know. Try number 13. Back to domain. So they're back to domain again. So find the domain, which means denominator, doesn't it? So denominator, domain always means denominator not equal to 0. So grab that. 3t not equal to 0. How do you solve for t there? Do you subtract 3? Divide, huh? Because it's multiplied. So divide. So t, now 0 over 3? Just 0, right? If you said 0 thirds of the pi is no pi, right? So it's just 0. So t can't be 0. Done.